Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Ripple's CTO and co-creator of the XRP ledger, David Schwartz, has stated that banks should not outright just be able to ban transactions of customers whenever they want and without opportunity for appeal, while also stating that in a particular recent development involving Binance and a major bank, he's actually a bit sympathetic to the bank situation, and to be perfectly honest with you, I feel the same. I am sympathetic to the bank here, and so hearing something like that in the world of crypto is not that common, as I understand it. But that's because a lot of people in crypto, they're ideologically driven. It's the whole down with banks, down with government nonsense, and I have a different look. In fact, the way I look at it is most banks are small businesses serving their local communities. And what are banks? Banks are and what are businesses? Hell, what are businesses? Businesses are people. Or if you disagree with that, then you tell me what a business is. Is it just the physical assets? Is it the brick and mortar? I mean, really, more so, it's the people. And I don't think that all the people are inherently evil or bad. I mean, yeah, you can have bad apples in any type of industry, but by and large, these banks, yeah, you can have some bad actors, and some of the larger ones arguably have acted very poorly. I'd agree with you there. I think we'd have common ground there. But if your stance is that by and large there's something functionally wrong with banks, I just think they're small businesses that are providing services to their local communities over the world, throughout the world, by and large. And I think that things are going to continue to change. You're going to see an evolution in terms of what types of products and services banks offer, and they should have to adapt, and that's all well and good. But it doesn't make them the enemy. These are people that you live with in your community. And I do sympathize with the position that these banks are put in because of the policies that they have to adhere to based on whatever geographic region they're in. And so lots to say here. And by the way, I jumped into the fray. This has to do with specifically Binance and Barclays. And I jumped in and interacted with the Barclays official Twitter account. I had a little bit of a question. And nothing against the bank on the whole, but I will critique the response. I will critique their response. But before we go any further, I do want to be clear, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who likes making YouTube videos all up on the webinuts because it's a fun hobby, damn it, and I do what I want. Now, take a look at this article. This one, because I got to set the table properly, this dates back to June 26th of this year. It's just a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, whatever it's been, from CoinDesk. It's titled, Binance Isn't Allowed to be Operating in the UK, Watchdog Warns. Binance shouldn't be operating in the UK, the Financial Conduct Authority, or FCA for short, warned Saturday, a day after Japan financial regulator issued a similar notice to the cryptocurrency exchange. And look, I haven't talked about any of this stuff on this channel yet, but Binance has been and continues to be under serious attack from a regulatory perspective, as you'll see as this video unfolds. But the FCA, by the way, that is the entity in the UK that provided regulatory clarity for XRP, citing that it actually has utility. And so for that, very, on a scale of 1 to 10, 2 thumbs up for the FCA. Now here, I'm not as convinced, and there is a certain amount of uncertainty as to whether or not the position of the FCA here makes logical sense or not. Not all of the pertinent details that one would need to arrive at firm conclusions to this, not all of it is currently available. So this is evolving as we go here. But check this out. Citing its own requirements, the FCA said Binance Markets Limited isn't allowed to undertake any regulated activities without prior written approval. Further, the FCA said no other entity in the Binance Group holds any form of UK authorization, registration, or license to conduct regulated activity in the UK. And so let me pause right there. What in the ever-loving hell? If that's true, it's true, but how long have they been operating in the UK? Where did this suddenly come from? It seems odd. At a minimum, it seems very odd. Right or wrong, we'll see. And then they write here, despite this, it appears Binance is offering UK customers products and services via Binance.com, the FCA said. And Binance responded in a series of tweets saying the notice has no direct impact on the services provided on Binance.com and that its relationship with its users hasn't changed. Now, again, that was as of June 26th. Things have developed since then, and things have changed. Check this out. Now, this next piece is from July 5th. So this is brand new here. UK bank Barclays blocks payments to Binance. UK bank Barclays said Monday it is blocking customers from using their debit and credit cards to make payments to crypto exchange Binance. Now think about this. You, as a just everyday Joe Schmo citizen here, are being told that you cannot spend your money on something that you want to spend it on, and it's to protect you from your own actions. That sounds offensive, doesn't it? And so you can, and many people are, you can be mad at the bank because of that. But I'm a little sympathetic, and I'll explain why, but let me get a little further ahead before explaining that. And so again, UK bank Barclays said Monday it is blocking customers from using their debit and credit cards to make payments to crypto exchange Binance. It's to protect you. It's for your own good. It's for your own. You don't understand. I know you want to do it. You want to. And, both parties agree, Binance and you agree you want to do it, but we're not going to let you do it. It's to protect yourself. With effect from today, Barclays intends to stop credit and debit card payments to Binance, Barclays said in an email to CoinDesk. This action does not impact on the ability for customers to withdraw funds from Binance. So at least that's not impacted. So far, anyway. Ugh. The bank has been contacting customers who have used their cards on Binance this year, advising them it is stopping payments until further notice, according to tweets. The decision follows shortly after the UK FCA announced that Binance was not allowed to conduct any regulated activities in the country. And so this is where we get to David Schwartz chiming in here. And I always appreciate his perspective. He's a rather intelligent, thoughtful, logical individual. And so here's how the piece begins. David Schwartz, Ripple's chief technology officer, has shared his take on UK banking giant Barclays blocking cardholders from sending payments to the Binance exchange to, quote, protect, end quote, its customers. The mastermind behind the XRP ledger suggests that financial institutions should be prohibited from arbitrarily refusing transactions without appeal. And so, here, actually, where did I want to jump in? One sec. Okay. So Binance, the largest cryptocurrency exchange, described the decision as, quote, disappointing, end quote, in its recent statement. And so it gets interesting, though. And maybe I should just pull this up first. I was looking at this just the other day, and this is where I jumped in. Because there's somebody named Alexandra, and this went somewhat viral, at least in terms of, like, crypto attention. Alexandra wrote, "This is to help keep your money safe." And I saw it in my feed. So many damn people retweeted it. And what is it? Well, there's a screen grab from her phone from Barclays, and it says, "As you've made a payment to Binance this year, we wanted to let you know that we're stopping payments made by credit/debit card to them until further notice. This is to help keep your money safe." Oh, okay, there you go. So you can imagine the response from customers not so thrilled with Barclays. I understand here. And so they had this generic response that they kept, whoever's running this Barclays official account, this is a Barclays UK help, they kept pasting the same comment over and over and over again. And I became convinced that they weren't really so much reading the content from the people that were critiquing what their actions here. They were just slapping it down. And so I asked this question. I asked to Barclays, I wrote, why do you suppose none of your customers think you're protecting them with the implementation of this new policy? And I was just curious to see what their response would be. And they responded with the same thing that they wrote to everybody else, not answering my question. It says, "Hi there, it is our responsibility to help protect your money. With this in mind, we've taken the decision to stop payments made by credit/debit card, blah, 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 blah," not answering my question at all. So I don't really care for the response. So whoever's running the official Barclays Twitter account, you got to up your game. You got to up your game a little bit here. And so David Schwartz saw one of those generic responses, retweeted it, and wrote the following. "We live in a world where banks, quote, protect, end quote, people's money from being sent to the place they specifically asked to send it, where banks keep your money, quote, safe, end quote, from going where you want it to go. Meanwhile, governments have policies to make it very difficult for you to avoid using financial intermediaries whose policies dictate how you can spend your money. The war on cash is about forcing people to use intermediaries with unappealable power over your spending. And so think about that. There is indeed nothing you can do if a bank takes this policy, but in order to exist in the modern world, you need to use a financial institution. Where does that leave the consumer? Well, not exactly in an ideal situation, but really the vast majority of these problems, they are originating at the very top, which is to say with government here. And so David Schwartz also wrote the following: "It is not the bank's fault. They would prefer not to have this responsibility. It's the government that makes them responsible, that forces them to have absurd policies." And so look, again, this is where I got to go back to, admittedly, we don't have all the specifics as far as why all of these decisions were made, but the banks, the bank here in this case, right or wrong, their attempt here clearly is to protect themselves from a legal perspective. That's what it seems to me like, at least at this point in time. Because I don't think they want to piss off customers. Obviously, this does anger their customers. But it's like when you're weighing pros and cons, you go to your legal team, you're like, okay, so here's what's being said by the FCA. What do we do? Nothing, something, what? And so they did take action because clearly they thought this was the most prudent thing to do, but they were backed into a corner. And so in that sense, yeah, I'm actually a bit sympathetic here. Just like when it comes to XRP having been, the trading being halted in the United States on almost all exchanges, I don't blame them either. I blame the SEC coming after them. It all starts at the top with government. Were there sufficient clarity, we wouldn't have all this messiness and the absurd policy and all this crap. So I think it's just ridiculous and silly. And it's unfortunately, the way to get to a more reasonable position, it seems to me, is by going through all of this messiness. Humans are not really good at all this stuff. They're proving time and again here. And so then there was this. Here's another one on the same topic from Cointelegraph. This is just from 8 hours ago. Breaking: Binance suspends Euro bank transfers amid regulatory heat. And so Binance actually ultimately has changed what they're doing here. Effective 8 a.m. UTC on Wednesdays, singular, Wednesday, Binance users will no longer be able to make Euro deposits through their bank. However, they can still fund their accounts with credit cards and debit cards. And so Binance allows credit cards and debit cards to be used, not funding from banks though, but Barclays doesn't allow funding. And so it's like, okay. Trying making on-ramps and off-ramps much, much more difficult and confusing. Thank you for nothing, everyone. And so here you can see regulatory constraints facing Binance have forced the popular cryptocurrency exchange to temporarily halt bank transfers denominated in euros, according to an email sent to its customers on Tuesday. Specifically, Euro deposits via the Single Europe Payments Area, or SEPA, have been put on hold indefinitely due to circumstances beyond the exchange's control. Now, although Binance didn't specify the reason for temporarily halting SEPA transfers, the decision likely stems from the onslaught of regulatory action taken against the firm. Right. And so again, we're not privy to all the specifics, but this is what's happening, and it's an absolute train wreck here. Folks, this is why we cannot have nice things. This is why we cannot have nice things. You let me know what you think in the comment section below. I've said my piece, so I'll wrap it up here, though. I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.